in a world where everything was normal. A shocking piece of news emerges. The birth rate in all countries of the world has drastically reduced. Humanity discovers that men have become infertile, and they don't know what caused it. Scientists and governments around the world try to find a solution, but all attempts have failed. 5 years pass, and our MC, Park Ji-hun, is watching TV. He sees that a group of revolutionary women is gaining strength. Through a manifesto, their leader states that her goal is to end male leadership throughout Korea and the world. Her objective is to dethrone men, taking their place and creating a country with 100% female leadership. In contrast, a group of scientists tries to fix things through government-funded research. The MC is a recently graduated engineer. His life has never been very glamorous, but he is at least happy to have landed a good job at a multinational company in Seoul. At this job, he also started dating Min Jin, who joined a year later. From him, since he recommended her, as they had known each other since college. Things were going well for the couple, despite the chaos around them. However, what Ji-hun didn't know was that his girlfriend was only with him for his money. Min Jin saw in him someone who had something to offer. However, she met the company heir, the boss's son, and began a relationship with him without the MC suspecting. One fine day, the group of revolutionaries, which had been gaining strength, attacked several places and power centers throughout the city. One of them was the multinational company where Ji-hun worked. Therefore, he and all the men who worked there were left unemployed. Unemployed, he believed he could at least count on his girlfriend. However, soon after, his girlfriend broke up with him, claiming to have lost interest. And she made it clear that she had found someone better, the heir to the company. Even without possessing that fortune, he still had a large inheritance saved, and could even leave Korea and stay away from being a target of the revolutionaries. Min Jin knew that her relationship with Ji-hun was temporary, and at the first opportunity, she left him to be with the rich man. Some time later, already in her new life, Min Jin is surprised, as she discovers she is pregnant. Her boyfriend Kong Lee is also pregnant, as men are infertile, but if his girlfriend is pregnant, it means he is an exception. They go to a hospital to confirm their suspicions, and for the doctors there is no doubt, Min Jin is pregnant. While Min Jin thinks this will keep her boyfriend by her side forever, Kong has other plans. Even though he is advised to keep this up. In secret, he announces the news on his social media. Not only that, but he thinks he can use the opportunity to announce a new business. And he reveals that his paternity is for sale. Min Jin is worried because she doesn't want to share her boyfriend with anyone. However, she discovers the hard way that Kong doesn't think the same way. It doesn't take long for women from all over to start knocking on Kang's door. He receives them all and is overjoyed to be the most sought-after man in the world. Realizing she no longer has room there, Min Jin decides to leave Kang's house. Then, she remembers her ex and goes to knock on his door. The MC hears Min Jin's story and feels sorry for her, so he agrees to take her into his home. Some time later, the group of revolutionaries arrives at Kang's house. After all, the imbecile put his address on the internet. With that, they did what they always do, completely cleaned the place and took possession of the property. But they weren't satisfied, as they didn't want a pregnant woman out of their reach, and for them it was only a matter of time before they achieved that too. Concerned about the safety of the first pregnant woman in 5 years. The group of scientists searching for a cure concluded that they needed to find this woman and keep her in a safe place. They managed to track Min Jin to the MC's house. Upon arriving there, they explained that this place is not safe since Kong was eliminated by the revolutionaries and she could be next. However, Ji-hun doesn't let the scientists take the girl so easily, claiming that they offered no guarantee that they can keep her safe. Then, the scientists say that he can go with her to the base, to see with his own eyes how secure the facility is. Arriving there, the MC realizes the place is indeed very safe and remote. He accompanies Min Jin to the medical exams. However, one of the staff members notices something strange. They heard the story of how the girl became pregnant, and they realize she's been pregnant longer than she thought, so Kong couldn't be the father. Min Jin reveals that before Kong, she was Ji-hun's girlfriend, and the two were very close. Therefore, the scientists claim he needs to be examined as well. The MC is reluctant, but is pressured by the doctors to be examined, as he may be the only man in the world who isn't infertile. After the exams are completed, it's revealed that Park Ji-hun is indeed immune to the epidemic that began 5 years ago. And as far as they know, he's the only man in the world with this condition. However, they are the only ones who know this, because the group of revolutionaries published a video on the internet proving that Kong was eliminated by their hands. And they promised to do the same to any man who was able to impregnate a woman. With that, the scientists tell Ji-hun that he cannot leave these facilities for his own safety. The MC refuses to stay, claiming he doesn't want to be trapped in a place like that. However, the scientists, protected by the government, argue that he has no choice. And they have every right to keep him imprisoned against his will, for the sake of science. Without a choice, Park Ji-hun becomes a lab rat. His bodily fluids are collected daily and used to artificially inseminate women handpicked by the scientists. Ji-hun feels bad because he has no control over this, much less knows his children or their mothers, since he lives in a prison. Unlike him, Min Jin became a celebrity after being announced as the first mother of the new generation in Korea. Her life changed for the better, and at the government's expense, she lives luxuriously and safely alongside her son. Years passed, and the MC was used to fertilize, artificially creating several women against their will. Until, at one point, the revolutionaries discovered the scientists' project thanks to an information leak. They found and destroyed the laboratory, eliminating everyone inside: doctors, scientists, women, children, and even the MC. For her, there was no possibility of the world returning to what it was before, since her project was to build a global female leadership. Meanwhile, the MC ends up in the afterlife. He sees something shining in the distance. A voice echoes through the place, claiming that there is a way to solve everything.